Hi, I'm Paris, and things have not been all rosy throughout the past year as I've been losing weight. There have been tough times in terms of dealing with not eating certain foods. The cravings were especially strong at first because I did not eat a very good diet. I really had a thing for the junk food, cookies, cakes, chips, especially the seasonal candy out at Walgreens that comes out like 6 weeks before Halloween, all the little specialty chocolates that are just there and then they're gone after Halloween. You have to wait another year to get them. Same for Christmas, same for Easter. I was pretty much out of control with those things. I'd go to the drugstore for something, and while I was there, drop into the seasonal aisle and pick up some of those marshmallow covered chocolate things and then eat them in the parking lot at the Walgreens and throw the wrappers away there, so when I came home there was no evidence that I'd eaten them. It's embarrassing to do, it's embarrassing to admit and talk about. It really makes you feel like you don't have any self-control and you feel ashamed about it. For me, the solution was to just cut those foods out completely. I knew I wanted to do a diet that didn't have any refined sugars, cut way back on the refined grains, cut out the processed foods. So pretty much junk food was all going to be off limits, and it had to be completely off limits for me. Whether it's the way I'm wired as a result of genetics or how I grew up eating lots of sweets, I don't know. But all I knew was if I had a little of it, I couldn't stop eating it. And so the only way I could do this was to say, I will not take one bite. So a lot of diets encourage you to have your cheat days and so forth, but that really doesn't work for me. A one cookie cheat turns into a box of cookie cheating so fast. But as the months went by over this past year, as I've lost over 50 pounds, the cravings subsided, and preparing food here in the house for other people in the family, it would still, the smells and the sights would still bring up that, oh gosh, I'd love to have a bite of that, but I knew I couldn't, so it was okay. The most recent time was for my daughter's birthday. We had birthday cake, which I helped to cut and serve to people, and got some frosting on my finger, did not lick it off, went and washed it off in the sink. And as I convinced my kids after the party with the friends over and so forth, there was still quite a bit of cake left. So I said, okay, tomorrow, have your fill of cake. Whatever's left after that, we're just going to throw it away. There's no sense eating all those empty extra calories over the course of a week by keeping the cake around. So everybody agreed to that. It's all good. So they did complain when I actually threw it away. But when I threw it away, I actually was sliding it off of the cardboard serving tray thing, and as my hand sort of crushed into the frosting of it, and I was squeezing it out, I could taste it. Just through my fingers, I could taste it. It was the way that the frosting collapsed in my hand, and of course I know so well what the taste of cake frosting is like, so I tasted it as I was squeezing it. It was a weird sensation, but I thought, such a good thing that I'm not eating this kind of food anymore. So something that happened recently within the food groups that I do allow myself to eat really surprised me and made me very nervous. Usually I eat some dates each day, medjool dates, usually from Trader Joe's. I'll have 2 or 3 in the morning, 2 or 3 in the evening. If I eat more, and sometimes I just feel like I want something really sweet, I'll have 5 or 6 in one sitting, but usually then that's enough. They're very rich and a strong taste, and it sort of puts me off them for the rest of the day. So that's about the most I'll eat in one day. But I had noticed at the store next to the dates, they have date rolls, which are, let me open this up and show you, though I open this at my own peril. So these are made of a sort of pureed dates. They're rolled out and then cut into little segments like this. These happen to be rolled in coconut. The package I bought before was rolled in little almond pieces, and tried one, and it's good. It's a different texture than having a date, and I buy the dates that still have the pits inside, so it sort of slows me down in eating them, which I like. I have to eat around the pit and then take the pit out and hold on to that. Anyway, it slows down the process, and I enjoy eating it more doing it that way. But with this, there's no pit to slow you down. But I don't think that was the problem. So what was the problem? I finished the entire package in one day. Now, I ate a couple and I thought, wow, those are good. Of course, I like dates, but they were good with little almond sprinklings on the outside too. And I offered them to everyone else in the family, had them try them and said, maybe we could have these as sweets around instead of some of the less healthful sweets that we have. And so everybody tried one. Yeah, it's okay. They weren't too excited about it. So I put the package in the refrigerator, and later on in the day when I was getting something out of the refrigerator, I saw them again. I thought, I'll have a couple more of those, which I did. Yeah, they are really good. And so I went, and within an hour I was back again. I guess I'll have a couple more of those. They're pretty good. And so it went for the rest of the day, and I finished off the entire package, and I felt as I got about halfway through the package, that same feeling coming on that would happen with chocolates and cookies or a bag of chips in the kitchen, that you have a few and you put them back, and then an hour later you're back in the kitchen, you have a few more, and before the end of the day the package is all gone. The package was all gone. So really, what's the difference between a whole date and this date roll piece? They're about the same number of calories, the same nutritional profile. This has a little bit more fat because it's rolled in coconut. Probably the almond one that I got before had a little bit more fat too. But essentially I felt I was eating the same food but in a little bit different form. And that form is processed. Now you wouldn't really think, with the list of ingredients on this being dates, coconut, that it's a processed food, but really it is, because instead of having the whole date the way it comes right off the plant and eating that, you take a bunch of dates, take the pits out, throw them into a food processor, grind them all up, which is, I think, maybe part of the key of it, but I'm not sure. You take away the process of chewing them up like you do with this. This is sort of pre-chewed for you, makes it easier to eat, makes it easier to eat faster. Beyond that, I really can't explain it. Of the foods I've been eating regularly, the dates and watermelon, I'm thinking are probably the two sweetest things that I eat. But with watermelon, there's so much water in it that it's sort of hard to overeat it. You're not going to eat an entire watermelon in one day, even if you have a big piece or maybe a fair-sized piece early and another piece later on. It's like, that's enough. When I was done eating this package, I probably could have started into another package. I'm thinking that somehow in the food processing of the dates to turn them into the date rolls, that the sugar is released, whereas with this you eat it and it's sweet, but because it's mixed into the whole food, it doesn't hit you with quite as much of a sugar high. It takes your body a while to pull the sugar out of it. And I'm thinking, but this is just my guess, that once it's been all blended up, that it might taste a little bit different on the tongue, and it may definitely respond a little differently in your body because the sugars are more available. They get pulled into your bloodstream immediately, and you get that sugar high like you do with lots of junk food. In any case, one pack is about 1,200 calories, so my splurging that day, I ate quite a few extra calories and might have saw a little blip in my weight as a result, but the worrisome thing really wasn't that. It was just that feeling that I had again of being out of control regarding a food. Now, I don't mean to give date rolls a bad name. If you regularly eat lots of candy and cookies, date rolls are a much healthier choice for you. That's so long as you're having them instead of the candy and cookies and not in addition to. But I guess what I want to share as part of this video series about how I've lost 50 pounds over the past year is that behavior I had, that out of control behavior towards certain foods before I got started, and how just cutting them out completely, that's what worked for me. Some people can, when you go to the birthday party, have a piece of cake and you don't end up eating the whole thing. But that's not true in my case, and I suspect there are other people out there as well. So it worked best for me to just forbid myself from having any of those foods. And I just sort of stumbled across a food that triggers that same response in me in these date rolls. So I know this will sound crazy, but I take a CocoVia capsule every day. Now, CocoVia is chocolate. CocoVia is a cocoa extract nutritional supplement, so you can get the benefits of chocolate without the benefit of that good taste. And it's about $30 for this bottle, so I'm paying about $1 a day to have chocolate without being able to taste the chocolate. Crazy, right? For $1 a day, I could be enjoying some real chocolate, except I just know I wouldn't stop at that, and so this is the way I have to do it. Is it embarrassing to admit? Yep, but I figure there must be some other people out there who have the same kind of issues with food, and certainly lots of people have addictive issues with a variety of substances. So I just wanted to share that even though I have this unhealthy relationship with some foods, I've been able to get healthier through this technique, completely blocking them out and having a diet that does satisfy me with a variety of foods that I now find very tasty and filling. I don't think I have an especially addictive personality. Alcohol, cigarettes, drugs really never held appeal to me. But look at me now. I'm having to take my chocolate and have it put in a capsule so I don't taste it. So in conclusion, dates, great, healthy, sweet, tasty. These have actually helped me to get through those periods of cravings of other less healthy sweets. So these have been wonderful. But for me, the date rolls, too much temptation, and they trigger that out of control eating of junk food feeling in me for whatever reason it is. So it's important to know which foods trigger that kind of behavior in you and which methods you found that work to keep that under control. If you'd like to share some of those, some tips and tricks, please comment down below this video. I'd really like to hear about it, and I'm sure some of our viewers might as well. And I'll see you on the next video.